Hello, hello, Crossroads witches and other interesting magical beings. It's been a while. I'm still painting the barn purple. I'm getting closer though, y'all. I am getting closer. But what I'm really excited about is that we finally moved one of the small sheds over to a new location so that it can become the new Witch's Cottage 2.0. We were so blessed in California, and I got so spoiled having that little cottage that when I had the opportunity to do it again, you know I did. Now let me turn the camera here for y'all. We're gonna take a walk out, and as we can see over here by my golf cart is the new Witch's Cottage 2.0. And I have been so busy when folks have been asking me about content. We are still over here working on the House of the Dog, another short-term rental, which was set up for dogs. And as you can see, that little back extension there, that's the new bathroom. I'm still working on my barn. I got electricians here this morning hanging my chandeliers up in the barn, and I'm too excited about it. I'm like, it's happening 2 years later. We've been on site for 2 years now. And so I am finally getting to unpack. Y'all, this is one of those videos where I'm not editing. I'm finally getting to unpack in here and just get the first wave of things out, get them onto our shelves, and we will come back in and we plan on doing some painting. You can see where I've been painting. This is actually paint blue, and getting my shelves, getting all of the stuff set up. Isn't that just too beautiful? Look where we're sitting. We're gonna build a deck onto the cottage here. All right, give me 1 second. Let me sit down here in the midst of all of this and say, how is everyone doing out there? I know we're living in some terrible times, that's for darn sure. And I still believe a little kindness goes a long way, and that more and more in today's world, that's what we need to do. And we need to stick to our own personal ethics and morals. We know what's right, we know what's wrong, and we know some things around us are wrong right now. And if you have the opportunity to let your voice be heard, be part of the different protests, the No Kings protest. I know several members of the House have gotten involved. Writing your congressman, which I like to do. All these different things we can do out in the real world. I know sometimes you feel like your voice doesn't count, but it does count. Don't let them fool you. So use your voice. And in the meantime, as I said earlier, you know, I haven't been putting out a lot of content because I have been busy creating my dirt. I've been busy manifesting what, you know, we have here. I tell folks, you know, that my barn here, you know, I put that on a piece of paper like a year and a half before it happened. I sat and did some working, some spell work, some manifestation, whatever you want to call it. But I started putting that out in the universe that I wanted the big barn. I wanted, you know, under the live oaks, and I got it. And then I started looking at a lot of things in my life, looking back, thinking about the past 30, 40 years, realizing, you know, I've sort of gotten most of everything that I have, you know, wanted, desired, had ambition for, but they were slow coming. A lot of times we're, you know, I'm gonna manifest this up. How come it's not happening next month? And I'm sitting there thinking about, you know, I worked for a year and a half But in actuality, if I go back even further, I mean, my husband and I, you know, sat on a couch for a decade dreaming about having our place, having a couple of short-term rentals, having acreage, having big, beautiful oak trees. I kept saying I want to live beside a graveyard, and y'all know I live beside a graveyard. Graveyard's right there. So when I saw the graveyard, I was like, I'm taking it. That's it. It's sold. It's mine. You know, real estate agents just looking at me like, oh my goodness. But how long it took is what I'm thinking about. Because every overnight success is 10 years in the making. And part of that making is sometimes sitting there dreaming on it. Part of that making is working on it. Part of that is putting yourself in a position for it to happen and being realistic in your goals, but at the same time dreaming bigger and that walking that fine line. You know, people often ask, why don't you do workings to win the lottery? Because I'm like, yeah, me and how many other million people are doing workings to win the lottery? You know, yeah, I still get a ticket occasionally, but it's not my retirement plan. But being realistic about it and looking back, you know, when my husband and I first got our first little place, it was less than desirable. We got us one of those starter homes that was a wreck, and we fixed it up. And then we sold it. And then we got the next, which was our farm. We bought, 9 acres of logged off property that didn't even have an address. I had to go down to the planning commission and fill out the paperwork so they give us an address. And we worked on that property for 17 years. And when we were done, all 9 acres was fenced in and looking good. You know, I put it on the market and within hours it sold. And we did a rinse and repeat when we went to California, where we bought basically the cruddiest house on the block and went through it. And over the course of 5 years, we slowly updated everything in that house. And then, we took it, put her on the market, she sold. And so when we had the opportunity to get this barn, it was big project, bigger than the other projects I took on. And going, it's okay, we're on a 5, 7, 9, 10-year plan with this place. And that's what manifestation is about. It's not, it's going to happen next, I'm going to do it this full moon, and next full moon it's going to happen, all right? And it happens because of hard work, of sacrifice, because we did, we worked hard for what we got. And some of our move betweens when we were trying to get our money together, honey, we didn't even have basic cable. We did zero spending for a year, where the only thing that we bought was necessities. There was no cable, there was no pizza delivery, there was none of that, because we knew that we needed to take every penny that we could put together so that we could get the down payment. And that was our goal. And that whole year we spent manifesting by sacrificing. How bad do I want it? I want it bad enough. I didn't even have basic cable for a year. I want it bad enough. I did not get me some delivery pizza. I wanted it bad enough. I wasn't going to the movies, all right? That was the no shopping type days. I didn't even stop at the thrift store no shopping type days. It was what's in my closet is what I'm wearing. And us having that mindset put us where I think the universe saw all the hard work we were doing. And on the flip side, when we got, the property, we had some really great things break our way, where we were able to get up with, this old man that had a backhoe. He was retired, and he would come out and work on the property for a very fair price for us, something we could afford, and things like that. And I think about all of, the sweat, blood, sweat, tears we put into it. That was part of manifesting it, is that we worked it. Manifesting isn't writing it down on a piece of paper, burning it, and sitting back going, all right, it's going to happen. All right? Manifesting is putting it in the real world with hard work, putting it in the real world with sacrifices. A lot of times, folks sort of think witchcraft is the easy way, and it's not. All it is doing is aiding in what I'm already doing. It is helping me to take my dream and make it a little bigger. But I got to put in the effort. I got to put in the time. All right. It's not, I'm thinking, oh, I read this manifestation prosperity spell in a book, and I'm going to go do it. Oh, damn, it didn't work. And it's like, because you didn't work it. In conjure, in a lot of folk magic traditions, we call it working instead of a spell. All right, we'll talk about I'm working a little something, something. That means I'm doing spell work, all right? But the phraseology alone lets you know I am working. I am working it. I'm working it both on that astral level, that energetic level, and I'm also working it in the real world, like what I'm doing right now, where I'm sitting here sweating my bum off. I got a fan in front of me. Y'all, 1 second. I'm gonna get me some iced coffee. I'm like, I don't know what makes me think that in the summertime in Charleston, South Carolina, it's a good time to come out here and work on this cottage. But I want it done. So I'm doing it. I'm working it. And then I was going to do that railroad spike video. And this is something else I'm finding out that I'm having. Where I'm changing railroad tracks, by the way. Where some of the things that I'm doing, some of my workings are becoming very personal. I did railroad spike and wrapped it in red thread and did the breath and had other witches here who were so kind to lend their energy to it. And then I pounded it into the dirt in front of the cottage. I talked about I was going to do a video on it and I had notes, but somehow for me it became personal. Very personal. This was my personal magic. And I got the sense I didn't want to share it. And so I didn't. Not everything, not all magic is meant to be shared. Sometimes it's none ya business is what it is. It's a none ya working, where that ain't none ya business. I'm doing something over here. Leave me alone. And respecting that line where a lot of times we want to share or we want to go ask, oh, I did this and this. What do you think about it? And my feelings on that is as soon as you ask somebody else, oh, what do you think about it? You've put doubt into it. You have put uncertainty into it, and you are potentially unraveling your work, and that's to know, to will, to dare, to keep silent. That keep silent part, folks don't need to be knowing on social media your business. I mean, the reality is some of those folks don't want you to succeed no matter what. So don't tell them nothing for sure. But again, when it's your personals, this is your work and you put together, this is between you and the universe. This is between you and divinity. This is between you and whatever deity, god, goddess, archangel, demon, whoever you've invited into your space, who you're working with. And not all magic is meant, in fact, I would say a lot of magic is not meant to be on social media. It is very much none ya business. And I know for new folks that sort of makes it a little hard because you're like, well, what is she over in the corner doing? Well, I'm over in the corner doing what feels right. I'm over in the corner making something that makes sense to me. I don't need it to make sense to somebody who wrote a book. I don't need it to make sense to folks on social media and which have opinions, and I'm not even going to go there on some of that stuff. That witchy talk stuff, y'all just be careful with it because there is some bullshit. I was watching a couple and I was like, that's sad. That is sad that that's what they'd be putting out. And they're putting it out for the views. I know what they're doing. But your intuition, how it makes you feel. When it feels right, it is right. When it feels good, it is good. And at the same time, when it feels off, it's off. when it don't feel right and your tummy's just a little, ooh, I ain't sure. It ain't right. That's how you know. Listen to yourself. I was over here digging me a little hole behind the cottage because I put some stuff in the little hole. And the wind sort of gave me that gentle caress. And it was just like this beautiful, gentle breeze as I was finished. And I felt like it was like, you know, the genie loci, spirit folk, Mother Nature. It was an energy that was smiling at me. It was an energy that was nodding a little bit. And I got that little bit of a breeze. And I knew right then I was doing it right. This feels good. This is gonna work. All right? I got my confirmation just by how the universe feels around me, how that moment, the energies in that space, you know, it felt right. And I know sometimes y'all been outside, you feel, and that wind, it just turns and blows the wrong way. And you'll be like, ooh, something's happening. That's the same thing with spell work. Manifestations and things is make it feel right. And I now am going to end this and tell y'all, I promise I'm going to keep trying to make some content here and there. But my priorities right now are to getting my place set up, getting my dirt. And also right now, for me, I'm finding it's a season of personals. It's a season of Nanya magic for me. And I'm going to honor that. I enjoy putting out content. I want y'all to know that, how much. And I have moments where I'm thinking, oh, I want to make a video for this. And then I start thinking about it. I'm like, oh, I hadn't even taken a shower today and I'm all covered in paint. And that's why I thought today, you know, it doesn't matter if got myself all made up and I'm sitting up in my boudoir in my witchy space. You know, as much as I love that, there's also the keeping it real side. And some days you gotta sweat for your magical space, because that's what I'm doing right now. But I do want to remind all of y'all, the 13 moons, House of Witchcraft, we have a virtual space. Every Thursday we get together, we bring up quarterly speakers. It's a great group. I know it's the highlight of my week. I enjoy it when I get to be in space. And also the first Thursday of the month, we open up our virtual space to anybody and everybody. There's no charge, there's no hookups, there's nothing. You can come and chat. We typically have a guest speaker or a really good topic. Our conversations are wonderfully dynamic. We want everyone to participate. And of course, if you're uncomfortable with that, we tell folks you can turn your camera off. You don't have to, you know, if you're not ready for that space yet, you can still join at a level that you're comfortable with. And I just am really, really enjoying it and would love for anybody that's interested with that. You know, I believe that witchcraft at its finest is an oral tradition. You know, pre-recorded videos only go so well and things like that. And when you get the opportunity to sit in a group of magical folks and hear different opinions, hear different way things are going on, it really helps your own sense of self. You know, that empowerment, encouragement, inspiration. And we all do it to each other. And that's what makes it so wonderful. So please consider checking that out. And I'm supposed to, I just got out of my business meeting where they're telling me, you know, you need to tell people you write books, you're an author. I write books. I'm an author. Please check them out. Taryn S., Hoodoo in the Psalms, international best-selling book, Conjuring Dirt, on its way to becoming that. I also have several independent books that I've published as well. And so please check them out. And if you do like my books, please leave a review on Amazon. That really helps me a lot. You know, just hitting subscribe on this video helps me a lot, to be honest, with that. And so with that said, witches, I'm going to get back to work here. So, of course, I'm going to tell y'all, get out there, fly those brooms. And as always, I hope you have a bright, beautiful, magical day. And with that said, amen, blessed be, ashe, and a bobo. Alright, here's some bonus footage. I just finished getting the first wave, and I thought I'd give y'all a little sneak preview of everything. And this will end up becoming the Covenant's altar, a group altar with different workings on it. And then, of course, our different supplies for, this is herbs, which will be organized. Down there is what I call the arts and crafts corner. You can see I still have things in boxes. And I gotta get that box done. And having the shelves over here and getting things out and on it. And I am just too proud of my space, and also having all of my goddess statues back out. I love all the different representations of the goddess. And over the years, I've collected quite a few different statues of them. Actually, that's one of my favorite right there. The Gaia goddess. Here's the Willendorf goddess. Here's Aline of the green of the wilderness. Isn't she too pretty? She's just a pretty goddess statue. And then, I don't know if y'all can quite see the face there. Is that not too pretty? I was at a market, one of those artisan markets, and the artist, I got to chat with him. Best vibes. Oh, I loved his energy. So every time I pick it up or every time I look at it, I think about that. That's why it's so important to have roots to things. This is a friend of mine. I'm still got to get all of the pictures up, and which are in this here. This is everything that has to go on the walls. So I feel pretty good where I've gotten so much done today. We're going to have to come back in and do some painting, but that's okay. I am just so happy I've reached the point where they're empty. And then this fall, I have to decide what color I'm going to paint the exterior of my cottage. And I'm thinking I'm going to paint it similar to the barn over there with the purple and the greens, because I really like that color combination. But it is just too beautiful of a day out here. So I decided I was going to stop, take me a breather. I got to go pick that wood up and just be grateful and be thankful for what I do have. That lights up at night. I put lights all over it, y'all. It looks really pretty. Isn't it too pretty out here? And then over here in the front, I just love it. I've taken that moment. I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling grateful, and I ain't taking none of it for granted. All right, there was your sneak peek of my finished work. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go roll me one and sit back and enjoy the fruits of my labor for today. All right, talk with y'all later. Bye.